Content warning. Please note that this program contains depictions of gender-based violence, including severe physical and sexual violence.
The Sound Seekers Audio Festival.
I'm going to read you a short story. The title is Voiceless. Kneeling down next to the river, trying to wash my blood-stained blankets, I could still sense the reek of his profuse sweat and heavy breathing. I was still angry at him. Suddenly, I heard women screaming. But when I looked down and saw blood diluting with the water flow, I smiled. My dad died when I was 9. We were staying at his parents' homestead with my paternal grandparents, my 2 uncles, their wives and children. In total, it was a family of 21. According to the Kaluanga culture, when a woman marries, it's not just to the husband, but to the whole family. When a brother dies, the wife has to choose which of the remaining brothers she wants to marry. My mother didn't want to marry either of my uncles because she was scared of their wives. And living in a polygamous marriage is no child's play. She decided to run back to her father's home with us. At our new home, it was my uncle Fana, his wife Madube, my maternal grandparents, and my 2 cousins who were boys. Now with us, it was plus 4 more people. When I was 11, my uncle Fana started calling me wife. Sometimes he will come to me and fondle my breasts that were slowly growing bigger as I was starting puberty. No one paid attention. Some even laughed and encouraged him. A maternal uncle is said to be a husband to the niece. It was just a big joke. Still is. As I was the only girl in the compound, I had my own room. The boys were squashed in a much bigger hut on the other side, close to the fence. One night, I was sleeping in my hut, alone, naked, because I had a problem of bedwetting. Uncle Fana came to my room. He got inside my not-so-nice-smelling blankets and started fondling my breast. When I tried to scream, he held my mouth. "Hush, you know it's my duty as your uncle. Or I can leave you to scream, no one will hear you. Everyone is so deep in sleep right now." The air in my room became still because of the stench of my smelly blankets and this huge man who smelled of my neighbor's cheap locally brewed beer. I kept quiet, hating every second of it. In the morning, I decided to tell my grandmother about it, as I sensed my mother was not going to believe me, and another reason being that we had a home and food because of Uncle Fana. She was going to silence me without even giving me an ear. I waited until there was no one in the compound because talking to my granny meant talking to everyone, as I would have to scream for her to hear me because of her hearing impairment. "Listen, my granddaughter, there is nothing abnormal about your uncle fondling your breast. Did he do anything else other than that?" "No, he did not, but he..." "No, but you cannot come to me crying because of that. Go and get me a glass of water and start cooking before everyone else gets back." The only person that had a voice to make my uncle stop didn't want to help me. I had no choice but to let it be and accept the agony. That continued for months. He would come to my bed and be touchy-feely with me and go. After finishing my Form 2 at secondary school, I did not proceed to the next level as I could no longer afford school fees and educating a girl child was not as important. Then one inclement night, I was battling with insomnia, trying to sleep as I had a busy day ahead at the fields. The roaring thunder and the constant electrical discharge of lightning didn't make it any easier. Then I heard a squeaky sound of my door opening. There was Uncle Fana by the doorway, dripping wet from the rain, his big belly protruding from the undersized golf shirt he was wearing. Not again, I say to myself. I felt his wet hands all over my body as he got inside my blankets. The wetness could have been his sweat or rain. It was hard to tell. I couldn't push him away as he was way bigger than I was, and I knew that screaming was not an option. You are so hot today. I don't think I will leave you today as I always do. I will have to finish my business here today. Madube will understand. I got so scared when I heard him say that. It was not going to be an only touching session that night. He was going to go all the way. I started shivering. I had not known a man in my life. I was just a little girl. But uncle, you cannot do that. I pleaded and I struggled. And the thunder seemed to be helping me in the fight as it was getting louder. I prayed that the lightning could strike him dead before he had the chance to devour me. Oh yes, I can. Why not? I am allowed. The excruciating pain I felt that night was indescribable. I was hurt emotionally and physically. When he was done, he left a $5 note next to my pillow. Buy yourself some sweets and biscuits, will you? You're a good girl. Continue being like this and I'll take care of you. Remember, no word about this to anyone if you know what's good for you. He said as he struggled to put on his pants, panting like a dog. I cried bitterly. Was a packet of sweets going to make me whole again? Suddenly, there was a loud thunder that shook the walls. It was quickly followed by lightning which lit up the room. Through my tears, I saw an axe that was leaning by the wall. I had put it there on purpose as I was going to fetch firewood the following day after working at the fields. All I remember after that was Uncle Fana screaming as he fell down on the floor. I couldn't see where I had hit because of darkness. His groans fell on deaf ears. His usual harsh and loud voice changed to a soft and calm as he begged me to run and seek for help. Eventually he got quiet. I sat there next to him and cried the whole night. It was in the morning when I realized that I had hit him on the side of the head. His ear was hanging. There was so much blood. I was not remorseful about what I had done. Instead, I was still angry at him for the pain he had caused me. Suddenly, I was worried about my soiled blankets. I had to wash them. I decided to sneak out to the river to do the laundry, with no care or worry about Uncle Fana, who was still lying there with his pants zip ajar. Just as I hobbled into the yard, my mother saw me when she was collecting firewood from behind the kitchen. "You have started bedwetting again, you silly child. Which husband will marry you if you don't want to grow up and be a woman that you're becoming?" she shouted. She said those words while reaching for a stick to cane me, but stopped when she saw me limping and that my eyes were bloodshot. What is wrong? What happened? Why are you limping? You are crying. Tears started rolling down my cheeks again. She held my arm and took me to her bedroom that she shared with my grandmother, who was still snoring her life away. She set me down on her bedside where she had woken up from, while she stood with both her hands on the waist waiting for me to start talking. Her face looked sympathetic and curious. Me seeing her like that, I decided to take a plunge and tell all from when it started till the previous night. She was my mother after all. With shuddering sobs, just before I could get to the X part, she interrupted me as she sat beside me. Her face had now changed from being sympathetic to uncommiserating. "Listen here and listen to me carefully. What happened to you isn't new, Uyangizo. It has happened to a lot of us. I know it's painful, but you will have to learn to live with it. For some, it's uncles and their nieces. For some, it's the father-in-law right before the husband touches the wife. It's for opening the way for the future husband. Just let it go and accept it." She stood up and left me utterly astonished and angry. Suddenly, I hated myself for being a girl. I hated myself for being alive at such a time. I hated myself for being born in that family, that culture, that women are voiceless. I stood up, livid with anger, went to the river to do what I'd intended to go and do in the first place, which was to wash my blankets. There was no one there, as it was that time of the year when it was raining almost daily, and no one dared to get close as the river was in full spate. As dangerous as it was to me, it was so inviting. It was going to get me out of all my troubles. I thought that if I went in, I would never have to face my family or go to jail for what I'd done to that animal. And I would not have to be a victim of such a distasteful and horrible culture that was so mean to the girl child ever again. Suddenly, as I was busy washing, I heard screaming voices from our homestead. Yes, they had found the pest. I smiled. He was not going to hurt me anymore, or any girl for that matter. I declared myself a heroine, and the running waters hadn't stopped calling me in. The thought of me going back home to face my family and the community that was going to see a murderer and not a hero made me accept the invitation, because then I'll be literally voiceless. And according to me, that's heroic.
If you have been affected by any of the issues raised in this programme, please ring the Rape Crisis Centre on 1-800-778-888. That's 1-800-778-888. The Sound Seekers Audio Festival is funded by the Broadcasting Authority of Ireland using the television licence fee, in partnership with the Irish Research Council. For further details, go to thesoundseekers.com.